Hey, welcome back to another video. So in this video, we're going to show you how to use OziPress. We're going to show you how to install OziPress on your system and get going. OziPress is a feature-rich, feature-focused CMS system, content management system that's extremely lightweight and plugins optional. You have the ability to install and write plugins to extend the functionality. However, a plugin is not required essentially, which saves you hundreds of thousands of dollars over the lifetime of using OziPress. Now, let's go ahead and talk about real quick. Just touch on the core features. It comes with SEO out of the box, structured data such as JSON LD, so that websites and search engines can discover your website very easily. It comes with built-in PSR dashboard, which allows for auto loading, so you can install additional PHP packages and write your own plugins and further extend the feature set of OziPress real easily, right? It has block rendering system, visual editors, which I'll show you in this video, form builders, e-commerce built-in integration for Stripe, a headless REST API file browsers, comprehensive CMS systems such as custom post types, relationships, metadata, and permission management, a host of different things basically. So without further ado, let's jump into installing OziPress. Now, to get started with OziPress, you'll go over to your website once you have it installed, right? So let's say this is your website. You basically have OziPress unzipped and sitting on your platform. It has all the folders and all the files there. And basically, once you have it, you essentially own everything in your uploads and as well as everything in your plugins directory. Everything else is just a core feature set that comes with OziPress essentially. Now, with that, you then go over to your local host or your website's domain, and you basically see your site up and running. At this point, nothing is on your website. You don't have the databases configured, any of that. So what you want to go ahead and do is click on, since you're the administrator of your website, you want to get started with your website. Go ahead and click on config, and this will tell you, hey, you need a environment variable as part of this URL to be able to access the installation piece of your website. So how we do that is go ahead and jump over to your files. So we'll see here in your database file that is available within your file browser, it's going to be your .env file. I have it available on this page, on this VS Code page. Basically, you want to copy this information and take it and go back to your browser at this point here. So you can just paste that. And so once you do that, you will kind of see the differences at this point. So if we go back to here, we see that the information you need to use to fill this page out is going to be coming from your site administrator, right? From your hosting provider. They'll give you your local host for your database, the username that you create on your hosting package, the password for the database, and so on and so forth. You get to choose what you want to name your database. So, or if that's already provided for you, copy that and paste it in between these two curly braces, these quotation marks. And if you want a prefix for each table created by OziPress, you want to enter that here. So if you want to have your table be my prefix, you can have something like that, or say, my, or something like that, whatever. I don't want any prefixes, so I'll just leave that there. And this is what we copied to be able to enter the configuration page. And this is some other information such as encryption for both JSON web tokens to represent the user information. And so I'll just kind of speed this up to say that this information is here, just more documentation to come. And so at this point, at the very top section of the page, you see all these different pieces of information. And that just represents what you already entered in your .env file, just brought up here for you to quickly review. If you're happy with everything, you're going to paste in the password for the configuration file that you entered here. We're going to copy that back again. If we don't already have it copied on our clipboard, we'll paste it at that point, and then we can go ahead and click on Create Database. Once we do that, it'll take just a quick moment, install, and then it'll say database config installation, all statements were executed successfully, which means that OziPress has installed all the databases. So if you look at this point, prior to us installing it, we only had this light set of tables or databases. So if we go ahead and refresh, we'll see now that our database has now been created. It's going to be OziPress dev database. When we click on it, we get to see all the data, all the tables without prefixes that were created. Now, I mentioned that OziPress is feature rich. One of the great features it comes with out of the box, without you having to install any additional packages or any additional plugins or pay for plugins, is rate limiting by default, which means if someone was to try to take your website down by making a bunch of erroneous requests, like just requested pages left quickly in quick succession, rate limiting will detect people trying to access your web page making the same request repeatedly, and it'll block that, and it'll block their IP address and so forth. At the same time, it comes with e-commerce, management of groups, management of different users. You can make dynamic posts, create custom posts with a bunch of different relationships. You can have post relationship types, a host of different features. Again, this is not the video talking about the features. I'll make dedicated videos talking about the features themselves. However, continuing on, so now that we have everything installed, let's just go ahead and jump into the site itself. Once everything installed, and then you can come back here. Things are a little changed up a little bit. Your site is still under construction, so what you want to do is go ahead and log into your site. So localhost and login. If we go to login, obviously we don't have a username. Again, this logo can be changed because you're still kind of in the midst of making changes. So what you can go ahead and do is say sign up to your own website. At this point, you can create your what is it called? Your username, your user email, and your password. So I'll go ahead and create something real quick, just as a test. Go ahead and sign up. Once I sign up, it'll take me back to the login page. At that point, I can go ahead and log in. Now, it only remembers me because I created this just a second ago as a test prior to this video. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in, just kind of show you the full process. And I'm going to go ahead and sign in. Then it takes me to the dashboard at this point. On the dashboard, you can see from manage users, you can see my system's running a little slow because all the recordings I'm doing. And so it'll go to manage users, and you can see all the users that have been created. Everyone's created with a temporary ID for the username, but they can change this in the future. If you want to, extend this site into a social media website, you can do that in terms of profiles and different features like that. So if we edit this, you can be able to manage and assign new roles to a user, set their status, and so on and so forth, right? So with that said, let's go ahead and jump down to create a quick blog, because I want to demonstrate some of the benefits of OziPress in terms of the visual content editor. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to create a blog. So to create a blog, you come to this, everything is a block. You have, let's say, this is OziPress's block editor, and then another block here. Both of these are paragraphs. Let's say I want to add something real quick. Maybe I don't have images. Let me a block rating, right? Just kind of show. I can come here, I can make some changes to say maybe I want 3 and maybe I want like 10 stars. You see, it just kind of changes and it's very interactive and intuitive to use. You can add different colors, you know, like such. Make them larger if you wanted. Let's add another block. I want to add something that doesn't require a lot of let me add a counter just to kind of show you the dynamicness of. I want to start counting from 100 and maybe to 990, right? And I'm going to give it a prefix of that. Items, right? Hello world is what I put there. I don't know, let's say another. Oh, these are. So what I want to do is make it color red 500. See, you can add like CSS properties, sort of like Tailwind, to further customize different things. I'll just kind of leave that there. I think I have enough to get going. Let me add here just to kind of show you, for this block I want to add an animation just to kind of show you additional functionality that it has, right? An animation, I want to give it a bounce animation that has a host of other ones as well, and so it's going to be triggered when this paragraph is within the viewport. So once it's within the viewport, it starts animating automatically. These are, I don't have to put any values for those. Essentially, that determines how much do we want to delay prior to the animation starting, and how long do we want the animation to play for when it's playing. Do you want it to play for 2 minutes, or like maybe 100 milliseconds? So it'll be, you can customize all those features in terms of the animation. So with all that said, I'm gonna go ahead and now save. We're doing good on time, so I'm just gonna go ahead and save. At this point, let's change this to, we're gonna publish it immediately. So we're gonna publish it. Actually, no, before we publish it, I want to go to the property editor and say our first blog post, blah, 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 test, first blog slug test. All that is just kind of being created. We'll use the default post in terms of theme and the layout of the post. You can set images here, and bring up a browser essentially for the feature image. I don't want to set one right now. What I want to do is our first post, SEO enabled for keywords. I'm basically saying that these tags turn into keywords for when the content is posted and for user searchability. Another keyword here. And at the same time too, I talked about you can create post relationships, and for each post relationships you can then create metadata that can be associated with this relationship type. We haven't set one up yet, however all those things are possible, because again, at the very beginning I said that OziPress is feature focused and plugin optional, so that's really key. So at this point, let's go ahead and save. Once we save, we see this change here. It went from the prior URL to now created an ID for this post. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like on the front end by going to preview. So as we can see, our counter did work. Let's read, and then our bounce also at the same time worked. So that is OziPress, okay? OziPress is extremely lightweight. It does not have any bloat to it. It comes out of the box ready to work for you, to allow your content, to allow your products to be sellable, available, without you having to install copious numbers of different plugins, all made from different people with different philosophies. Here with OziPress, it's extremely lightweight, but delivers extraordinary performance while giving you immense numbers of features that you would otherwise have to pay for at a rate of $300 per month after you add up all the different features and plugins that you're paying different people for. So why not transition over to OziPress? Again, I'll be making a host of different videos talking about OziPress in depth, but go ahead and give me comments below in terms of what you want to see next. I'll see you in the next video.